Bill Jones, and welcome to VYPE TV, a show that highlights local athletes, their schools, and their communities. On today's show, we begin with a deeper look into two Class 5A teams. Each one has a lot to be happy about this year. Plus, we'll discuss who some of the top recruits currently are with our expert, David McNabb. Later, you'll meet a father who's changed assignments to spend more time with his son. And we'll travel to Flower Mound to see how a coach is impacting the lives of his players. And finally, a performance from the Denton Drumline. Well, the COPPELL Cowboys are having a great year, averaging twice as many points as their competition. How are they doing it? We visited with them recently to find out.
Go, Rainbow!
Let's get better today, get better tomorrow, and come in and play our, create a habit of playing our tail end off.
We're really close with each other, just not on the field, but in the hallways, just bonding, and but our practice mentality, you have to enjoy it. So we're just practicing hard and having fun at the same time.
Basically, just coming together as a team. We were kind of struggling to find our identity, but I think we found it. Doing our thing.
They come from great families, and it's a great community, and sports and doing well mean a lot.
Overload run! Ready! Go!
They bust their tail end, they're focused, and they're smart. It ain't all about ability, it's about buying in, creating unity, and playing smart.
Well, we just work hard every day, do the best we can in practice, and try to stay focused, and it's been working out so far.
It's a great atmosphere. It creates a great atmosphere. Friday night football in Texas, in high school, it's just, to me, it's the best and the purest there is, and this Friday night will be exactly that.
A great first half of the year for the COPPELL Cowboys, and to talk more about the Cowboys now, Tim Polzer, editor-in-chief for VYPE magazine, joining us as he does every week. And how about those COPPELL Cowboys?
Well, they're really making headlines this year. They're expected to be one of the area's best teams, and they've played that way. The offense with Joe Minden and Cam McDaniel is about to be as expected, but the defense is starting to get some notice. One of the national rankings even had them number 2 in the nation, and they're giving up about 8 points a game, and that's impressive.
Yeah, you look at Joe Minden, number 10, the quarterback for the COPPELL Cowboys, who's passed through the first 5 games of the season for nearly 1,200 yards with 11 touchdowns and just 2 picks on the season. And he makes them go. Number 4 ranked among Class 5A teams offensively. And I have just loved this Cam McDaniel, number 4 for the COPPELL Cowboys ever since I first saw him as a sophomore a couple of years ago.
Well, he's Mr. Everything. He's very versatile. He's a running back. He's a receiver. The defenses really can't just load up on him, and he's a great kid too. We had him on a cover of our preview, and it's just nice as can be. And
we'll have more on Cam McDaniel coming up, in fact, on this edition of VYPE TV. But you talk about defense. COPPELL has been a school that recently has not been known for its defense, but you look at the stats now this past week, 8th in the area in defense, and they are led by a guy who made a sensational play last week here on TXA 21 in a big win over Denton Guyer. That would be Brandon Mullins, who in the span of about 45 seconds at the end of that big win over Guyer, caught a touchdown pass and then returned an interception for a touchdown too.
Yeah, we'll talk about versatile. There you have it, offense and defense. But Mullins has been a star on defense. Tanner Rice has been applying pressure off the line. And when you have your defense step up like that, a great offense and a great defense, it can make you a state contender.
And Brandon Mullins can not only play football, he's a pretty fair lacrosse player,
That's what I hear. A lot of football players are switching over to lacrosse. It's a good off-season program. similar kind of physical demands.
Which may be interesting this coming week as COPPELL takes on South Lake Carroll, which is led by our running back Paul Stevenson, who is also a star lacrosse player for the Carroll Dragons. All right, our second team this week, the Hebron Hawks. They've been hot and cold this season, scoring 60-plus points in 2 games, yet they've lost twice, too. Let's take a closer look at this 5A team from Carrollton.
Well, one of the things that we really talked about this offseason, things we're really talking about going this year is, is representing the H on the side of our helmet, and we take the letters REPH, and then R's for respect, E's for excellence, P's having a passion for what we're doing, and H being humble, but having humility about how we play the game. We got a lot of good skilled kids coming back from last year's team offensively with their quarterback, 2 starting receivers, running back, offensive linemen.
We're looking very good this year. This is the closest we've been as a team.
There's no week offs for sure. I mean, we got to play every week because everybody we play is a good competition. Teams that are contending for district titles and teams that are got very storied traditions.
Our whole class, we've been since 7th grade, all been focused on state. We've all been pretty determined for that.
Oh, we want to win states there. That's what all we talked about since 7th grade and elementary school. Even was talking about going to state.
Our class this year is all very connected. We're all good friends. We all hang out together, so we got really good chemistry.
Playing December, that's what it's all about.
A big thing for us is just go out and play hard, have a great time, and just have a, like we talked about, have a lot of respect for what we're doing, play with excellence, play with passion, and be humble about whatever we do and whatever we accomplish. And those things we want to try to strive for each and every game we play.
Brian Brazel, head coach at Hebron. He's an old TCU guy, and his team plays a lot like Gary Patterson's team at TCU, and they're led by a little quarterback named Kyle Abishan, who does everything for them.
He does. He's one of the better dual threat quarterbacks in the area, and they've got a lot of offensive talent. Like you said, they've been a little bit inconsistent, but with Damian Delaney, with Desmond Wortham, and a playmaker like Keontae Griffin, you just never know what you're going to get week to week.
It's interesting listening to those kids who were in 7th grade when they made the goal of winning state. That was probably about the time that Hebron won a Class 4A state championship. And it's interesting, whether it's in Hebron or Coppell, Plano, Allen, any number of communities across the Metroplex, a tradition like that builds year to year in a program.
Well, they are. Hebron's known as one of those perennial, I'll say powerhouse, but contenders every year. They missed the playoffs last year. That was unusual for them, maybe providing a little more incentive. But I really expect them to be there at the end, the last few weeks of that 8-5A playoff berth.
Yeah, one of the problems for Hebron and all those schools in the Louisville ISD and now Plano ISD and Allen as well, that's such a tough district 8-5A.
It is. They went from having to face South Lake Carroll to having to face the Plano schools. They went from one tough district to another. So that makes them a better program, I think.
All right, look forward to more good things from the Hebron Hawks, and we appreciate Tim Polzer of VYPE for joining us. And coming up next here on VYPE TV, you'll meet a Flower Mound coach who strives to build better athletes by strengthening their character. Then later, our local expert gives us his picks of this season's top high school football recruits. But before we go to break, here's one of our favorite features. We call it Game Faces. We're showcasing some of the best high school sports photography in North Texas. You're watching VYPE TV, and we'll be right back. Great high school coaches care about their athletes as much as winning. In Flower Mound this week, we met one coach that's motivating students to be positive role models in their community. Kelly Kirkland is in this week's FCA Spotlight.
With us today is Coach Kelly Kirkland. He's the head football coach for the freshman team here at Flower Mound. Coach, glad to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Let's talk a little bit about what got you involved with coaching. What was the motivation to be involved as a coach?
I think when I got involved in coaching, the most important aspect to me was the relationship that I got the opportunity to do is to build with the kids and to be around these kids. And that's why you get into teaching. That's why most people get into coaching, is to be around these young men and women and have an opportunity to impact their lives each and every day. And that's a wonderful blessing that I get to do, and I love it and I enjoy it, and that's why I do what I do.
You're a huddle coach. Let everybody know what that means.
A huddle coach is someone that organizes and supervises a group of student leaders that lead a Fellowship of Christian Athletes huddle on the campus. And we do it at various houses throughout Flower Mound, and it's an opportunity that we get to share the gospel to other kids and lead people to Christ and build God's kingdom.
Set, go.
What would you say to a parent who's got a child involved in athletics to encourage them to support their child involved?
I think, to be involved with their kids and then be involved in different organizations like FCA and different sports, but also to make good decisions. And I think parents got to do a great job of teaching their kids to make great decisions each and every day. And we got to do a great job at home. I have 2 kids of my own, and we got to teach our kids every day. We can't be there for them when they have to make these decisions. And all we can do as parents is to love them, but teach them as early as possible that temptation's going to come. Evil's going to come. There's going to be alcohol. There's going to be drugs involved. There's going to be sex. There's going to be these things that these kids are going to have an opportunity to do. And they need to learn how to make that good decision and surround themselves with great people. And that's what we're trying to do here.
Coming up next, a father and son get to attend the same games, one to work and one to play. And later, we'll show you a performance from Denton High School's Drumline. But before we go to break, it's time for this week's Triple Play. We test parents' knowledge of their athletes' favorite things. This week, we pick the brain of Cam McDaniel from COPPELL High School. How well does his father, Danny, and his brother, Gavin, know him? This week, you can see it's his father. We'll be right back.
In the October issue of VYPE High School Sports Magazine, you'll find our rankings of the area's top 20 quarterbacks. We also preview the 2010 team tennis season and spotlight area cross-country runners and teams that can make a run at state medals. Plus, our Baylor Health Plan provides information on static stretching versus dynamic warm-ups. That and more in the next issue of VYPE Magazine. Pick up a copy starting October 8th.